All right, I do believe we're live now. Okay, welcome back, everybody. This is In the Blind with Daddy Duck 365. And tonight I've got a special guest, Mr. Wes Looney from Groundswat Game Calls. He is not only a master at building some of the sweetest sounding duck calls, but he also has his hands in some really unique stuff, like his canvas decoys and those old-timey lantern boxes that you just don't see every day. Listen, if you're in chat, uh, shout out and let me know where you're from. And I sure would appreciate that. Grant, if you're still here, buddy, thanks for showing up. But before Jacob, how you doing? Welcome in. If Before we get started, I do got to make a couple shout outs to Salt Creek Custom Ammunition, True Lock Choke Tubes, and Biscuit Built 3D. Right now, they're my only three sponsors that I got, and I got to give them a shout out. So if y'all want some good ammo, some great choke tubes, and some DIY stuff, get over there and get you some. Matthew Sewell, I don't believe I know you, but welcome in.
That's one of the
Big
decoy buds.
Decoy's great again. Okay. So Wes, how you doing tonight, buddy?
Man, I can't complain. Had a long day at work, but we're doing good now. How about yourself, Matt?
I had the same thing. A long day at work, man. I didn't think it was ever going to get done, but it was it was Monday. Okay, and so if it could go wrong, it went wrong.
That's right. It's going to be a week full of Mondays for me.
Yeah. Well, I know Grant and I know Jacob, but I don't know Matthew. So, Matthew, where are you from, brother? You don't have to give me a general area. There's
Matt,
old Craig Calder.
Matt's he's one of my carving buddies. He got me into the canvas thing. He answers majority of my questions. So.
Oh, is he? Okay.
Oh yeah.
All right. Where's he out of? Is he
he's in North Carolina right now. He's a Marine. So.
A Marine. Oh man, Semper Fi, brother. Oh, gotta love my Marines. Ron, how you doing? Yeah, I could if I could turn this camera around, I could show you some Marine memorabilia from back in the day. Crayon eaters. Cody, what's going on, buddy? Ron, how's it going? But while people are showing up, Wes, tell us a little bit about, and I know you've been on here before, but from some guys who are brand new, just coming in, or going to see this later on, tell us a little bit about Groundswat.
Yeah, so it started like a lot of stuff. It started in 2020, just trying to keep myself busy during COVID. And then it kind of started out as a hobby, and now it's kind of like almost like a full-time gig. But try to use as much domestic stuff as possible, a whole lot of hedge and, local burls and such. But, we use a lot of exotic woods and acrylics and stuff like that. I wanted to be able to put essentially custom calls at a shelf price for the blue collar working man. So
I got you.
That's where my prices are set. I'll make calls for collectors, but I make them for guys that are going to beat them up and their wives won't kill them for spending a mortgage payment on a duck call. So,
well, you got your calls. Of course, I've got one up here up on the mantle, and they give me that old feel when the look of them. That almost like a Louisiana style call. That just the way it's shaped, and that LA cut, I think, is what they call it.
Yep. All my calls now are wedge and tone board or Louisiana tone board style calls. So to me, they just got so much more. They're user friendly compared to a J frame, where you can blow out the cork notch if your cork's not, malleable enough, or you got to trim the reeds. And if you trim too much, then you have a kazoo. With a wedge and tone board, you can adjust your reeds, your wedge. There's just so much you can do. So you can really make it your own.
So do you have any of the calls handy that you can show us?
Yeah, I've got a few that I'm working on. I haven't cut the insert on this one yet, but this is a maple burl. And if you've ever seen the movie Shawshank Redemption, this tip is from the Shawshank Redemption tree.
Oh, really?
Yes, sir. So
That big oak, that oak or whatever it was
yep,
by the wall.
the big white oak.
Yeah.
So, and then let's see what else we got going. I've got my personal lanyard right here. This is made out of a hedge fence post. I think the guy said it dated to be about 100 years old. That's what I used every day last season. And then this is a hedge burl wood duck. I like to say that every duck call is made of hedge, and then the rest of them that aren't made of hedge are just noise makers. So
Right.
And this is once again another piece of hedge that I'm working on. Can't really tell the grains, but man, those things are pretty tight. So that was a real old one as well, but whole lot of hedge going on.
All right. Yeah, I mean, if you want to demonstrate one, go feel free. Let's hear what it sounds like.
I would love to, but I've got a 3-year-old or a 4-year-old, excuse me, that is in bed right now, and a wife that is she's not glaring at you, but boy, if she was.
Trust me, I have a wife in the next room there, and if I start blowing on a call, I'll get a knock at my door. So, yeah, I understand. We can blow them all we want to in our trucks and in our shops, but we can't do them inside the house.
Yeah, just making up rules as they go along now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was cute when you were dating, but now they don't want to hear it.
Yeah, it was fun to have a hobby that you're passionate about, and then you put that ring on her finger, and all of a sudden, you got to grow up a little bit.
Jacob Farley. Well, let me say, hey, Colt, how you doing, buddy? Mark J. Larson's in the house. Of course, Cody at 407K9. But Jacob Farley, does wood type matter in a call, and what is your softest sounding call?
Yeah, so that's a great question. Wood type absolutely affects everything. The harder your wood, typically the louder your call is going to be. A little bit more dense is going to be a little bit softer. So the softest call I offer is going to be in red cedar, and that's just because it is so soft. Really, it absorbs the sound, and it makes a real good, what a lot of people call a live duck sound. And then when you get into the acrylics, obviously they're really hard. So you can get a little bit more volume out of there, a little bit more versatility. But it's all about what you want. I know a lot of guys, they'll carry a wood call to finish ducks and then an acrylic one to get those migrators to look at them. So,
right.
But yeah, great question.
Now, just kind of moving on. Charles, how you doing, buddy? Welcome in. Appreciate you coming in. So if any of you guys got any questions about the calls and whatnot, please get them in the chat so we can get Wes to answer them, because we got a lot of things that we're going to go through tonight. But now your canvas decoys.
Yes, sir.
Those are I think they're great. I still haven't got one yet. I'm waiting. I'm waiting on mine. But let's look at that's the one that's on your pictures right now.
Yep. So that's this is the latest mallard I did. Just a different head position than what a lot of guys are putting on canvas birds. And I wanted a preening mallard, so that's kind of the fun thing about being a decoy maker. You can really do whatever you want to do. Yeah, these are all made out of white cedar. The head's white cedar. This was my first bird I painted with acrylic paint, and I really liked it. The dry time's a lot quicker. A lot of the carvers will say that they're a lot more durable compared to the oil-based paints, but it's all about what you like. I've got one of my fillers over here. This was painted in oils, so you can see there's not quite as much of as a sheen, but
right.
We'll throw. I can make these, a dime a dozen. So if we throw out, 4 painted birds, we can mix these in, and just to really I guess diversify the spread, make it a little bit bigger.
Okay.
But
Ron says, let's see. I like the wooden calls. Sound much better than acrylic. Just his opinion.
yeah,
And
there's a lot of people that would agree with that opinion. I know I certainly agree with it, but
I prefer a wooden call, even though I do have plastic. I don't call them acrylic. For me, there's a difference between acrylic and a hard plastic. And I've got some hard plastic calls and I've got some acrylic calls, but I really do think that the wooden calls do sound a whole lot better, in my opinion as well. Cody from After Five is saying how much. Cody, are you asking about the decoys or are you asking about the calls? I'm going to assume it's the decoys.
yeah. So if you're asking about a decoy for a mallard, depending on if you're going to gun over it or if you're going to have it as a shelf piece, typically these are going to sit around $75. But you know, I'm willing to work with anybody. I want to get these in as many hands as possible.
Did you get that? You get that, Cody? I hope he did. Yeah, you did you have your diver, one of your divers?
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go. Then that's your buoy, isn't it?
Yep. This is an old lobster buoy cut in half. So
see, that's sweet.
These things, honest to goodness, the slightest bit of wind, and I mean they're doing donuts like they're at Talladega. So
yeah. And how much are they going for?
So I based these off of availability of buoys. This one was a retired buoy. You can see this thing's been everything but pooped on. But typically these will go for 50, depending on your species of duck. Something simple like a canvas back is going to be the cheapest one. And then when you get into the wood ducks and all that stuff, it's going to be a little bit more.
Do you have any more? Do you have any more available right now? Your buoys or any of your other species?
I've got
look at them.
I've got a black Scoter in the garage that's available, and then I've got a blank buoy. If anybody would like to commission me to do one of those, I'd love to do one for you.
Okay.
Behind the smoker, you'll see it.
Now those are the decoys. Now, one of my personal favorites out of everything you do, and pretty much everything you do is a favorite, but you have a lantern box. And this thing, I've never seen an old one. I've seen pictures of them, and I've got pictures of them. But you have come out and are reintroducing the old lantern box.
Yep. So this is one that I used last year. This is made out of red cedar, and this is a recycled cast iron handle, and then just a regular oil lantern. I mean, these things are cool. You don't think they put off a whole lot of light, but when you're paddling in, you know, at whatever ungodly time you're trying to get to the spot, I mean, man, they really light the way. And, you know.
Yeah. Now, can you give a little history on those lantern boxes of what people used them for and how they used them?
Yeah. So before the Migratory Bird Act of 1918 came out, market gunners could actually hunt at night. And with the light being so dim, a lot of times your big groups of brant and geese and black ducks and all your divers, they wouldn't know if it was a lantern way off or whatever. And a lot of times guys could actually paddle through these giant rafts and go undetected. The Native Americans, when they did it, they said that oftentimes it would draw the birds near them, and then they could, you know, get their shot off at them. But I mean, the old ones, they were used, and they had usually a headlamp shroud in the back of it. They said that would cast off the light just perfect. Mirrors were used as well, thinking it would reflect the light. But what happened is you would have a giant black spot where the actual lantern was, and it wasn't worth a hoot. It would just overheat and sometimes cause the box itself to catch on fire. But I could talk all day about lantern boxes. Unfortunately, in today's time, you'd probably get ran over if you were going to the really busy public waters. But my assistant, also known as my wife, sometimes she's more my assistant than my wife, depending on if she's being nice to me that day. But she brought me a couple of birds that I'd been finishing up.
Okay.
This is a black scoter canvas over wire that was finished up. Hopefully I get to float this year off the coast of South Carolina. Let's see what else we got. And then here's a black scoter lobster buoy. So
I like them both, to be honest.
Two different styles. Both have their places. This one you can shoot it 100 times and it's still going to float. So that's where the draw on those are. So I think a lot of the sea duck guys are going to those now, like Jeff Coates with Pit Boss Waterfowl. I know he uses those exclusively now. Shoot.
Well, the way they fly in, that you almost have to have an unsinkable decoy.
Yeah, and then being in South Carolina, it wouldn't be a spread without a hooded merganser. So
there you go, Cody. If you're still here, there's your hoodie.
So, and that's another cool thing about carving birds is you get if you want a hooded merganser, you can give it your old college effort and make one. So let's see.
Real quick, RD, what's going on? Tell Noah I said hello.
And then this is just a real gunning style wood duck drake. This is it's been through the ringer. So I might let this one go after the season.
Well, you know me and my wood ducks. So
if I could kill 3 wood ducks a day and 3 green wings, I'd be happy. Those seem to fly good and they fly straight to the grill. So
I got a question for the chat real quick, and y'all answer as you can. But is anyone here ever hunted over some of these old style decoys, or maybe you inherited an old decoy from, say, your granddaddy or something, or maybe even just have some vintage waterfowl paraphernalia. And I'm gonna have to give you, when I say vintage, I'm gonna date it pre 65, because 1965, because I'm 60 and I know of a lot of people call me vintage. So I want something. If y'all got anything that's older than that, decoys, calls, anything like that, any of that old vintage stuff, put it down in the chat room. Let's see what you got.
I've got a PS old I've been meaning to cut on, but I don't know. I get kind of weary about that because they don't make olds anymore, and I'd hate to.
Daryl Newman has a PS old of mine that I've been trying to get him to cut for 3 years, and it ain't been done yet. But I really want it done. In real foot over black Coke bottles and foam filled pipe. Okay.
Yeah, they I think in Reelfoot there's a company, I think it's called either Killer Fillers or Filler Killers. I mean, it's like these, they're massive, but a lot of the guys, they swear by those. So it just goes to show you, when I was in California with the Navy, we used to hammer ducks over half-gallon milk jugs that were just spray painted black. So I think a lot of times we overthink.
Yeah. I mean, growing up, even here in South Carolina, growing up, I can't tell you the ducks I've shot over painted Coke bottles or milk jugs or whatever we could get that was bulky and would float.
Mm-hmm.
But this is Craig's got a few decoys from Cedar Island made in 1903, and I have seen those decoys. I've been up to Craig's up in North Carolina. I have seen them. He's lucky he didn't wake up the next morning and they were gone. That's all I can say. I'm just saying. But anyway, is there anything else? Because you're grinning and it's getting ready to come, but is there anything else on the company wise that you want to push out to people, how they can get in touch with you, that kind of thing?
Yeah. So duck calls is what I mainly do, but I started out making making lanyards back when there was really only a few guys on Facebook making them. I think Chris at Duck Whacker Lanyards was the main one. And I think he had a waiting list that was like, I mean, it was almost like 6 months long. So I figured out, how to make these, and I do mine just a little bit differently. So I make mine a little bit shorter so they don't quite hang down, past your belt buckle. And I splice 2 loops on the end so they'll never come undone. And then I clip them together. They'll fit over your head in a jacket, or if you want to take them apart and string them around you, do that too. Any color, any braid, whatever you need. So lanyards, totes, the little timber hangers.
Right.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Yeah, if you can, I'll do everything but tie your shoes. You're on your own with those.
Well, yeah, that's why I wear Crocs. I don't have to have anybody tie my shoes.
Yeah.
Let's see here. Anti, what's going on, buddy? Appreciate you coming in. Now, when me and Wes were talking the other day, he was asking me to come on and do another live stream with me, and I said sure. But we kind of wanted to stir the pot a little bit, so to speak, and we were coming up with some ideas, and finally we came up with one, and I think this is going to be some fun. It's going to be stirring the pot and some things that I just enjoy doing from time to time. So we're going to shift these gears a little bit. Every duck hunter has his opinion on this one, and I most definitely want to hear from in the chat room, and on this. And definitely I want Wes's opinion on this. But this is going to be public land versus private land. And so let's start it off, and I'm going to ask Wes, the challenges and rewards of hunting public land.
I think so much has to go right just to get a good spot on public that killing a duck on public, especially in South Carolina, where I'd like to actually see the numbers between how many duck stamps are sold versus how many birds are killed. Because one of the main spots we go, if you're not putting your boat in the water at 2 a.m., you're not gonna you're kind of peeing up a rope, as they say. You've got to scout, you've got to know where they are, where they want to go. You got to time it. You got to beat the same people there, because the spot that you think is untouchable, 6 people know about it, and it's already dropped on their pin.
Right.
I think it means more on public. I like that.
Yeah. Now, Cody just typed in the chat room 2 a.m. Well, Cody actually came. He's up in Minnesota, and he actually came down here to South Carolina to visit. And we were going to go duck hunting for a couple, 3 days. I won't tell you all what happened, but he looked at me and said, "What time we getting up?" And I said, "About 2 a.m." And he looked at me like I had lost my mind. I said, "Dude, this is public land." He said, "Man, I don't even get out on the water till 9, and then we hunt, from 9 to, by the time we get there, 10 o'clock on." And I'm going hunting with him this year up in Minnesota. And I guarantee you at 2 a.m., I'm going to be awake and pacing up and down the hallway wanting to go, because I'm like you, the public land around here, if you're not on the water by 2:30, you've lost your spot. And there is no, there's always A, B, C, and D plans, but if you don't have one for whatever reason, you're done for. Mm-hmm. You're lucky if you can shoot a passing merganser. So yeah. The differences in strategies, decoys, call-ins, pressure on public land. What's your thoughts on that?
So late season, I try to do the exact opposite of what everybody else is doing. I mean, if if people are running small spreads, I'm going to run a big one, and vice versa. If they're running, if they're running big, I'm going to run small. Because by the time you get late season, those birds they've seen it. The mojos don't work. The ripplers don't work. The water shooters don't work. Screaming into a duck call doesn't work. It's all about just being where they want to be. I think scouting is 95% of the success rate in duck hunting. If you're where the birds want to be, you'll be successful. But you might catch a few migrators, but for the most part, in South Carolina, at least where I am, it's not, you're not getting too many fresh birds every weekend.
Right. Yeah, it's so was after let's see, Matthew is saying 7 ducks in a creek, no calling, just a jerk rig. Cody is 10 a.m., 8 decoys and no call. He shoots limits.
Shoot. I want to be where
it's going to kill me, man. When I go, I'll be up there for 5 days. I'm going to be a basket case before I leave. Let's see here. I've been at Samworth WMA back in the early 90s. There would be 100 trucks there by 2 a.m. Confidence decoys. So let's talk about that. Do you use confidence decoys at all?
Yeah, I mean, I've got coots in my spread, and I've got it might not be considered a confidence decoy, but nobody else is running them. I throw hooded mergansers out there. I mean, if I see wood ducks, typically I've either seen mergansers or I'm gonna see them. I mean, they kind of go hand in hand where I'm at. So
right,
and I mean that white shows up. I mean, God, they'll see that for miles. So
I don't know if you would call it a confidence decoy at all, but you know how our Canada goose season runs around here. If I'm hunting open, I'm going to probably put if I'm in an area that I've seen in the past some Canadas, I will put a handful out.
Yeah.
Right on the edge of the spread, and still within that 30-35, but I'll put them right on the edge. Those birds will see them from a distance and they'll come in. Case in point, I was hunting with Craig, was it last year, I believe? Right before the fiasco with the truck. And we had a nice spread. Mallards, pintails, widgeon, teal. But I had some Canadas on the outside. And we had a flock of 5 widgeon come in. And they turned the corner. And I mean, once, I'm calling to them, but once they saw those Canadas, they just did a hook and just slid right in. Now, I wish our shooting was a little bit better that day. We did shoot 2. The first one I shot, I think the gun went boom, and I yelled, "Take them!" I was so excited, but and Craig scratched that one. But I think it works. I think that doing something different than what everybody else is doing, and I'm kind of the same way you are. I have put out a refuge in late season. It looks like a refuge. I mean, Canada's, floaters, silhouettes, full bodies, shells, and then puddle ducks on the inside. I mean, just littered it, intermingled with everything. So it looked like a refuge in late season. And I've had people go, man, you got too many decoys out there. Well, we were shooting ducks. I mean, because it was different from what everybody else was doing. Let's see here.
The white decoys, that's 100%. That's if you got an old shot up mallard decoy, spray paint it white and paint the bill yellow, and throw it right in the middle of your spread. The residential ducks that we got around here, whether they're clipped toes or just refuse to leave, they'll hang out with the white ducks because the white ducks get fed by Miss Ethel off her dock every Sunday.
Right.
So they associate that with, with safety.
Right.
We did that. We did that back in like 2016 timeframe. We always had pretty good success. I haven't done it, in years, but
I took some old Carry Light goose decoys that I had, and I spray painted them white and painted the bill pink and put a black X on the back of it. And we have no snow geese around here. Okay. Every now and then you'll see snow geese here, but it's like 2s and 3s, 4s, maybe. And you know that. Now you may see some on the coast. There's a tub of them in North Carolina, 2 hours from me, but for whatever reason, they don't fly any further south. But I have taken snow goose decoys or painted up and put them in a diver spread, and we ended up shooting ringnecks and bluebills. There was 3 of us, and we limited out. And every one of those ducks, every time the ducks were flying in, they would key in on those white geese. And I had those geese kind of pushed too far, so I would waded back out there and drug them in within the 30 yard, inside 30 yards. And then it was all over with. I mean, we were killing ducks left and right. We were able to shoot them then. Let me hang on 1 second. I gotta catch up with you. Actually, after 5 Cody did that. I wonder how white swans and ducks don't seem to get along. Actually, I think it was John Herder from Herder's Decoys said the best confidence decoy he has ever had was 2 swan decoys in his spread. I believe that's one of his quotes when he was making Herder's Decoys. Yeah, Cody, I did watch the video. Yeah, we got the okay. There. Cody was asking if I saw the video. He said, "Hey, buddy,
he's
what are we wearing tonight? Hey, how you doing? What's your shirt say?"
Say Red Friday. He's got the right spirit.
Okay.
What you doing out of bed? Okay, I'll turn it after I'm done here, okay? Go back to bed.
Yeah, Cody was asking me if I had seen a video he sent me, and the other Matt, Sewell, he said, no, he didn't see it. And I comes back with, damn it, all these mats, we're going to put us on the mat. Yep. Anyway. So, all right. So same questions for private land. We talked about the public, but, and again, guys in the chat room, if you've hunted public or private, I want to hear your thoughts and comments as well.
So
challenges, rewards of, we talked about rewards of hunting in public, but even on private land, there are still challenges and there are some rewards to that. Mm-hmm. What are your thoughts on that one?
So right now we have 100 acres in an undisclosed county in an undisclosed state. And it's got 2 small beaver ponds on it. And we'll broadcast millet in the upper end of the creeks, and we'll let the beavers dam it up. And so we're hunting over redneck flooded millet. And I mean, once the wood ducks find it, I mean, you can't kick them out of there.
Right.
I like hunting there when I don't want to wake up early. So usually that's my Thanksgiving spot or my Christmas Eve spot where I can get in and get out and then be back with the family. But if you manage that property and you manage the hunting pressure and you plant crops and you make it a small refuge, I think it's cool to watch, birds work in there. But it's probably an unpopular opinion, but I'd rather kill, a couple birds on public than, one limit on private, once every, couple of hunts. Like I said, that's just me. I like public. I'm not the next Kurt McCullough. I'm not going to be if you're not on public, you're not a duck hunter, but I don't know.
Right.
I don't know what that guy said, but I enjoy the pain. The pain keeps it real. So
right. When you hunting private land, do you do anything different as far as your calling or your decoy setups or anything like that?
I try to, if there's a big group of wood ducks that are hanging around the area, I'll usually throw maybe 3 decoys out. I offer 2 wood duck calls. This is going to be another little business page plug. My main wood duck call is, I call it the Scout, and it's super high pitched. It's not really loud. If you've ever heard a wood duck hit the water at first light, I mean, just real, not, too loud. It's kind of just checking out the area. I'll troll with that early in the morning. And then I offer another one. It's a 2-piece, and it's a little bit louder, a little bit deeper. That's the one that has the good breakover and stuff. If you're so inclined to try to call at them. But
is that the one with the reed?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
So, yeah, like I said, if it's got groups of 6 ducks coming in, I'll throw out 2 or 3, and I'll usually have them on a pull string just to throw ripples and splashes. But I was always taught if you're going to reach for something with a wood duck, reach for your gun before you reach for your call.
Right. Yeah, I've taken wood duck hunting, I think, to another level in what and how I do things. When I do the same thing on public versus private when it comes to wood ducks. I'll set as many wood duck decoys as I got out, but I will have a jerk string. I will have something that's throwing water or ripples. Now, the wood ducks may only see 1 or 2 as they're flying over, but as they get in closer, they're going to see the other ones and where all those ripples are coming from. If you ever noticed, wood ducks, they don't stay quiet.
Mm-mm.
They're vocal birds. They are splashing, kicking water all over. So both on public and private, I do the same thing. And as far as my calling goes on either one, depending on how the reaction of the birds, do I need to get harder on them? Do I need to stay softer with them? Again, depending on the time of the year, is going to depend on decoys and how many and what and what's going on. I do know, and I'm pretty sure anybody can attest to the same. There's a lot less pressure on private lands because, like you said, you may hunt it 2-3 times a year because you want to keep your birds there. And the public land, I mean, you got the pressure there is just crazy with people. I run a mud motor, but you got the mud motors running around, and a lot of people just don't. They'll get to their spot, and if there's nothing flying within 30 minutes, they're out riding around. Mm-hmm. And they're out riding, they're stirring birds up. Now that can help and hurt all at the same time because it can get birds flying to go to other places that someone may be sitting, but then again, it hurts. It drives them out because they want to get that quiet. They want to be get that pressure off of them. And of course, the gunshots. I mean, opening day in Spalkerberry it's a young war. I mean, it's a young war, dude. I mean, I don't think what was that movie that Tom Hanks did, Saving Private Ryan, when they hit the beaches of Normandy? The gunshots in Spalkerberry are worse than that one. So hang on one second. Jeff, how you doing? Welcome in. Randy's here. Hey, Randy. Hopefully Bentley's here, and if Bentley, if you're listening, hello. So we've talked, the differences in strategy and kind of like private land perks and responsibilities, and we kind of touched on that a little bit. You've got some property. I've got access to private property as well. I usually hunt with the landowners and whatnot when I get the call. But the perks, again, you don't have to wake up at 2 a.m. You can show up 30 minutes before shooting time.
Yeah.
I mean, literally, you show, the decoys, if you want to leave them out, you can leave them out. If you just want to put them, stash them by a stump or something, and then walk in and pick them up, you can do that. I mean, those are some of the perks, but the responsibilities, in my opinion, are managing the land, whether you're making a food plot or you're fixing the soil to grow moist soil, do moist soil management, or you're actually planting a food plot. So to me, those are the responsibilities, and not overshooting it. Mm-hmm. Do you have anything else to follow up on that?
No, I mean, that pretty much sums it up. You touched a little bit on the motor guys on public. If there's nothing doing in 30 minutes, they start, running around. I'm definitely against that. I don't think there needs to be a minimum time limit to where you have to stay. But if you are, for instance, we hunt right off the river. If you're running the river up and down trying to scare birds, you're going to blow them out of their rest areas. And, you can't do that and then think it's going to be a sustainable, I guess, bird limit. If you don't have a place to rest, they're not going to stick around. They're going to go somewhere else. And unfortunately, the geese and ducks, you can go to any municipal park and they're in those ponds and they're not leaving, and
right.
I think a lot of that's due to the fact that they don't get shot. And when they do go somewhere, they get ran off by, what do they call them? The flat bill boys now.
Yeah. Yeah. It's, I think there's like I've always said, I've said it 1,000 times. I'll say it 1,000 more before it's over with. I do not have a problem with private landowners. What I do have a problem with is corn ponds. That is my problem. To me, it's legalized baiting, and because you're farming for ducks, you're not farming for corn. I'm a big proponent of moist soil. I mean, I don't tell people what to do. I give them my opinion and I say, listen, I'm against this, but if you do it, you do it. I mean, you do you, and you do your thing. I just don't care for it. I think we could do so much more and keep ducks by doing moist soil, and giving them what they need in the winter. So when they do head north to the nesting grounds, they'll be ready. Let's see here. Corn pond. Corn pond? No, corn pond. Yeah. I don't understand you, Cody. It's not a pawn shop. It's a pond. Let's see, Jeff. I know his pond is full of water now. It took all summer to do it. I know Jeff's got some private land out where he's at. As long as you don't like moist shorts. I got a crew in here tonight, buddy. And dadgum Yankees, they don't understand our Southern lingo. Oh, there it is. Yep, there it is. So, what are your thoughts on corn ponds and that kind of thing?
I mean, I think it's like anything else. If I had the resources to do it, I'd be lying if I said I wouldn't do it.
Right.
I mean, it's kind of like anything else. People will say that flying first class is stupid because you get there at the same time, but they've never flown first class. So,
right.
Like I said, if you're willing to do it, if you're planting corn, to me, that's fine. If you're dumping, 10 bags of cracked corn in there, that's where I'd have a problem with it. But, like I said, I mean, we plant Japanese millet. I mean, and we flood it. I mean, we're not harvesting that for the grain, but
no, nobody is.
It's just like, I like the Arkansas guys. They got the rice plantations, and it's like, man, y'all ain't picked this in years, but
right. It's like I said, it's an opinion, and to each his own. And that's why I like having these discussions, because everybody has an opinion on what to do, and that's fine. I'm not going to plant corn. I don't know how it got there in a cracked corn or a kernel corn form. I don't know how it got there, but I don't plant. No, guys, I'm just kidding. I'm just joking.
Nah, I throw corn for deer, and I don't want ducks eating it, and I'm going to shoot them off there. That's for my deer. So
yeah, that's for deer. You're just harvesting varmints at that point.
Yeah.
So it's it's an opinion, on what your thing is. Now, I sent you some stuff earlier, but I'm going to kind of get off track because I think it's just going to kind of fall in line to what we're talking about. And you kind of mentioned it earlier. We're going to talk about the old mutt mallards, the old release ducks. And what is, like I said, everybody's got an opinion. So what is your opinion on the release mallard program, not only in South Carolina, but up and down the Atlantic Flyway?
I think it's such a slippery slope. I know there's a couple places in South Carolina, they do release birds. And I think most of them started out as like a dog training facility where they were putting quail, chucker, and pheasants. And then the right financial backer came in and said, look, let's dig a hole, put water in it, and just basically, put these farm ducks out there. And, that way my dog can retrieve birds because I, paid X amount of money for them. I want them on birds. And then all of a sudden it snowballed, and it's ruined it now. I mean, I can't think of the name of the plantation, but I can go off the Saluda River, and I mean, I can pull up on X, and I can basically butt up right next to the property, and you can hear them shoot. And if you scream at them, on a call, they'll dump right in on the river, and you can shoot them. And half of them are banded. I mean,
right.
But it's like anything else. I mean, you can't. I think they call it flexing now. You can't flex on a clip-toed mallard. You get destroyed on the pages.
Oh yeah.
I don't know. I think it's done more harm than good. I think, when it first started out, I think they preached it for working dogs, giving people opportunities that might not be able to, go out and duck hunt the normal way. So I think they preached it like that, and they got a bunch of the thumbs up from the right people. And now it's ruined our state. I mean,
well, you have 50% of the mallards in South Carolina that were harvested last year in a study. I did a video on it, and I'll be doing another video on it shortly. But over 50% of the mallards that were harvested in the state of South Carolina, and the DNA samples were sent in, had game farm mallard traits. And actually, some of them still hold that European trait from when they brought the mallard over here on ships, because they did. Mm-hmm. They brought them over here way back in the day for food. And now you got even some of the so you still got the European mallard trait along with the American game farm mallard trait are now in the Atlantic Flyway system. Mm-hmm. And they tested it. It's the DNA is there. The proof's in the pudding. I think it's a bad thing, but I do need to answer this question real quick. My opinion only. Who wins in a duck fight, a mallard versus a goldeneye? Mallard, and not because of his weight and the size. It's just because the wild mallard is a lot meaner than a goldeneye. And a mallard will mate with any other duck. However, a goldeneye will dump its eggs in another duck's nest. So there you go. I think the mallard will win. Your thoughts on the mallard versus the goldeneye?
Dude, I don't want to get flagged for running an underground duck fighting ring. I don't know. I think the goldeneye. I think it's got more going for it. I think it's got to use its advantages. I think with it being a diver, I think you could just tire them out, swimming
just
under
tire them out.
Yeah, beat the brakes off of them. If ducks do that, I don't know. But but it's like I remember I was talking to somebody, and they ran one of these hunting plantations, and I mean, basically they said that, I mean, I think you can kill, 2 mallards for their fees, but they encourage you to shoot, all the wood ducks, the mergansers, anything that's not one of theirs. And it was kind of funny because they said in fear that their birds are going to fly away with them. So it's like, man, you don't want these birds to be wild. And I mean, I've even heard stories where, we'll say they buy the birds, February 1st, the day after duck season. And basically they'll tame them to where they'll do a feed chuckle on a call and then throw, sweet feed down at their feet. And I don't know what the effect is called. It's a scientific term where you train the brain to do something, but they get used to that sound and they get fed off of a feed chuckle every day. So they'll have, their world-class guides, in the blind, and they'll just, tick, and then before you know it, 4 come in, they schwack them, and then 4 more. So it's just, I don't know. I mean,
getting back to corn ponds and whatnot, Jeff says, I think hunting standing flooded corn is wrong, but cut corn that's flooded is okay. I agree. I don't think it's any difference than planting anything else that you do to improve the hunting. Okay. Yeah, I don't have a problem. I just have a problem with hunting over standing corn. If you had a field that had a kind of like a dove field, you can go in there and you plant corn, you harvest that corn, you're going to have some spillage. We all know that. It's not it's a natural, it's not natural, but a normal agricultural process. You're going to have spillage. Same thing with rice. It's just that corn takes longer to grow up. And you go in, you dike it off, and you put 6 to 8 inches of water. I got a problem with that. I really don't. And that kind of thing. I really don't. I just think hunting and standing corn, that's just my thing. Let's see here. Golden eye for the win. Jeff says he takes all the action. It's okay. You're good, Wes. Okay, whatever Anti is trying to say. Here's a look up hooded and golden eye cross. Hey Bentley, what's going on?
Man, while we're talking about dove fields and everything, why can you shoot doves with lead? But I've thrown geese decoys out in that same field and schwacked geese,
Yep.
A guy I know. Do you know what a number 6 lead does to a goose? There's no cripples. You don't have to worry about lead poisoning.
No. I asked the game warden this one time just to get his reaction. And I said, hey, listen, if I am in a boat and I have a shotgun and I have lead shot and I have a dove decoy tree at the other end of the boat, and I'm hunting an area where doves are flying over, and I have nothing in my boat that says I'm duck hunting. Can I shoot lead? And he looked at me and he says, I don't have an answer for that.
You're on a watch list now.
Oh, I've been on a watch list, brother. But I mean, it was a, you know, I'm not shooting ducks. I'm not hunting ducks. What, like you said, you're not hunting geese, but the same field.
Mm-hmm.
And we did that in Kentucky a couple of years ago, where I actually shot wood ducks in a cut cornfield, dry cut cornfield.
That'd been cool.
I got the video to prove it. Actually called them in. Now everybody was legal as far as steel shot, but as soon as the duck hunt was over, the goose hunt was over, we all went back to the trucks. We put all of our waterfowl equipment up, grabbed our guns, grabbed a couple boxes of lead, went to the same spot we were shooting ducks and geese at, and shot limits of doves.
That's weird.
You know, it's crazy, man. I don't get it either. I actually don't get it either at all. So anybody got any questions? Anybody got any questions for Wes on any of his duck calls, his lanterns, his decoys, his duck strap, duck totes, call lanyards, anything like that? And I believe Anti put your website up here somewhere.
Yeah.
That's how you can get in touch with him. Facebook, Instagram. And I'll leave that up for the rest of tonight, because we're getting ready to close this up here in just a few minutes. But y'all got any other questions? Please get them in here quick. Anti says he's on so many lists. I'm a Listerines. Proud to serve. I ain't got sense. God gave a goose.
But yeah, I've got a couple events coming up. September 27th, I'll be at the Green Pond Volunteer Fire Department. They've got an event. I'll be set up there. I'll have calls, lanyards, a couple of decoys. Just even if you're not going to buy anything, come by, say hello. I love to break up the monotony of people standing there and making Duck Dynasty references, or any of that good stuff. So then I've got one in November in Pelzer, and then one in December.
Pelzer?
Yep. And then one in December on Lake Kiwi.
Okay.
That's a private event for some kind of members. I don't know how I snuck in. Maybe they probably just feel bad for me. But yeah, a lot of times people are pointing me towards the soup kitchen, saying which way to go or the end is near. But
oh man.
Yeah, I'm hoping I can get Matt out on a hunt one day. Go back in time and use lantern boxes and canvas birds. And I've got a shotgun. It was my dad's great grand. I don't know the proper term, but it's a 1917 single shot.
Right.
And it's you better have your shoulder screwed on tight. But
if you shot steel through it, then today's steel through it.
I've got to use a little nicer shells than what I usually use, just to kind of protect the gun. But that's
okay. All right. Anything else you got there, Wes? Anything else? You got your shows. You got shows coming up. Guys, you can if you're looking for a good duck call, like I said, I've got one of his up here.
I should have your other one done this week. My wife and kid are going back to California for the week to visit her family. So I'll be making dust and stretching canvas. So hopefully I can get your call done and the canvas back done. It is
It's only been 10 years. No, I'm just joking.
It is let's see, a canvas bird. It is a canvas back made out of a canvas on his back. So that's a tongue twister. And then I've got your lantern box too. I've got the pine milled down for that. So it's going to be a sweet box.
Okay, cool. I got to put this up real quick. Then I'm going to go back. What's the average distance his calls will carry in the open?
My wife can hear him from 3 states away. So
yeah. How far does sound travel?
The cool thing about my calls are, and every call maker is probably going to say the same thing, but I mean, you can milk them down to the water with them, or you can scream at them. I'll do a sound file when the sun's out, hopefully next week, and we can do that. But
on your Facebook page?
Yeah, I'll post it on Facebook and then on TikTok, and we can let all the commenters tell me that I'm no good and I should give it up and all that fun stuff. So
there you go.
I think everybody's a 10-foot tall gorilla behind a keyboard. So
well, listen, guys, we've been here for an hour, and I've been kind of cutting these down to an hour or as close as I can to it. But Wes, I want to thank you for coming on tonight. You have an open mic here anytime you want. All you do is give me a call, so I know that you're coming. But anytime you want to come on, man, just let me know. You got a free spot up here on the panel.
You got it, man. I
appreciate guys, that. Go check out Groundswat Game Calls and Lantern Boxes and Decoys. He's got his title is about that long. I can't even put it in the screen. But go and check him out. Go sign up to his pages so you know you get him and his newest content that he brings out. And any of you guys that are in here for the first time, number one, thank you very much for coming in. And if you like content like this, do me a favor, hit that thumbs up button down at the bottom left and subscribe to the channel. I got a lot of videos that's fixing to come out, and then before the duck season, and then after when the duck season starts, we're going to be on the road a lot this year. And I'm hoping that I get a phone call. I'm not going to mention Wes's name or anything, but I'm hoping I get a phone call sometime in early September to head to the upstate on a goose hunt. I'm just waiting for that phone call. So
if I can follow a good feed and I can knock on the right doors, you're always welcome, brother.
I hear you, brother. Thank you so much. He's Matthew Sewell saying, let's do it. I'll make a rig of ringers. Cool beans.
There's nothing
all right,
better
guys. Y'all have a great night. Take care of yourself. Wes, again, thank you so much for coming in. Guys, appreciate y'all coming in, and y'all have a great night and a great week.
Y'all take it easy.